You got a raise. You're making more money than ever. So why does your bank account still look exactly the same? This is one of the most frustrating things that happens to people, and almost nobody talks about it honestly. You work harder, you climb higher, you sacrifice more. And somehow, at the end of every month, the number in your account tells the same story it always did. The same stress. The same feeling of being stuck. The same question with no real answer. Most people assume the problem is that they just don't earn enough. So they chase the next raise, the next promotion, the next opportunity. And when they finally get it, the same thing happens again. The money comes in, and somehow, within weeks, it disappears. Every single time. This isn't bad luck. This isn't the economy. This isn't your employer paying you less than you deserve. This is something happening inside your own behavior. A pattern so invisible and so deeply wired into the way you think about money that most people never even see it coming. And today, we're going to break it down completely. Because once you understand what's actually happening, you can't unsee it. And that awareness alone is worth more than any raise you'll ever get. There's a term for what's happening to you. It's called lifestyle inflation. And it is the single most common reason why people who earn good money never actually build wealth. Here's how it works. Every time your income goes up, your brain automatically recalibrates what normal looks like. What used to feel like a luxury slowly starts feeling like a basic need. The coffee shop you visited on special occasions becomes your daily routine. The apartment you once thought was too expensive becomes the minimum you'd even consider. The car you used to dream about becomes the one you lease without thinking twice. And none of it feels excessive, because each upgrade happened one small step at a time. And this doesn't happen because you're careless or irresponsible. It happens because your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do: adapt to your new environment and redefine normal based on what surrounds you now. That's not a flaw. That's human biology. But in the context of personal finance, that biological feature becomes your biggest financial enemy. The scary part is that it feels completely justified every single time. Because everyone around you is doing the exact same thing. Your colleagues upgrade. Your friends upgrade. And if you don't, you feel like you're falling behind. So you upgrade too. And the cycle continues. And the gap between what you earn and what you actually keep stays exactly the same, no matter how high that number on your paycheck gets. Let me show you exactly how this plays out in real life. Meet Jason. Jason is 32 years old. He started his career making $40,000 a year. He drove a used car, lived in a small apartment, cooked most of his meals at home, and honestly, he was doing okay. Not rich, but managing just fine. Then he got his first big promotion. Now he's making $65,000. So what did Jason do? He leased a brand new car because he felt he finally deserved it. He moved to a bigger apartment in a better neighborhood because the old one suddenly felt too small for who he was becoming. He started eating out more, upgraded his phone, bought better clothes, and began taking vacations he couldn't really justify before. 5 years later, Jason is making $80,000 a year. And he has almost nothing saved. Not because he's irresponsible. Not because he made one catastrophic financial mistake. But because every single time life got better on paper, his expenses were right there to swallow every dollar of that progress before he could even think about saving it. And here's the part that really hits. Jason doesn't even feel wealthy. After all of it, the raises, the promotions, the upgrades, the better life on paper, he just feels normal. Maybe even a little behind. Because his lifestyle grew so fast and so consistently that his income never actually got ahead of it. That's not success. That's a very expensive trap. And the worst part? He built it himself, one completely reasonable decision at a time. Here's the deeper psychological truth behind all of this, and it's the part that most people never hear. Our brains are not wired for wealth. They're wired for survival and social belonging. And in the modern world, those two drives are being used against us every single day. When your income goes up, two things happen at the same time. First, your hedonic baseline resets. This is the scientific term for your brain adjusting what feels normal, and it happens automatically, without any conscious decision on your part. But the second thing is even more powerful. Your social identity shifts. You start to see yourself as someone who earns more. And with that new identity comes an invisible pressure to live in a way that matches it. Suddenly, the things your old self would have called luxuries feel like basic requirements for who you are now. And here's where it gets really dangerous, because that shift doesn't just affect your spending. It affects your ability to go back. Once you've built a lifestyle around a certain income level, cutting back doesn't just feel inconvenient. It feels like losing who you are. It feels like failure. And that emotional weight keeps millions of people locked in a cycle they can see clearly, but feel completely powerless to escape. The wealthiest people I've ever studied resisted that identity shift on purpose. Not forever, but long enough to build a real financial foundation first. Because they understood something most people never figure out. Your lifestyle is a choice. And every time you let it expand automatically, you are making that choice unconsciously. So what's the actual move here? The answer is simpler than most people expect, but it requires you to be intentional in a world that's specifically designed to make you act on autopilot. The first rule is this: every time your income goes up, your savings rate goes up first. Before you upgrade anything, before you tell anyone about the raise, before you start thinking about what you finally get to afford, you redirect at least 50% of that extra money immediately. Not next month. Not after you figure out your budget. Immediately. Because the moment that money touches your lifestyle first, it's already gone. Your brain will build a new normal around it within weeks. And once that happens, going back feels impossible. The second move is what I call the 6-month audit. Every 6 months, you look at your fixed expenses and ask yourself one honest question. Which of these did I add because I genuinely needed it, and which did I add simply because my income went up and it felt like the natural next step? That question alone will show you exactly where lifestyle inflation has already taken hold in your life. And once you can see it clearly, you have real power to decide what stays and what goes. The game is not about how much you earn. It never was. The game is about the gap. The distance between what comes in and what goes out. Because that gap is where wealth is actually built. Jason could have been financially free by 40. Instead, he's starting over at 35. Don't be Jason. If this video hit close to home, if you recognized yourself in Jason's story, or in any part of what we broke down today, you are not alone. This is one of the most common and most invisible financial traps in the world. And the fact that you made it to the end of this video means you're already ahead of most people. Because most people never even question why the cycle keeps repeating. But awareness is only the beginning. Knowing about lifestyle inflation won't protect you from it automatically. What protects you is building the habit of acting before your brain has time to normalize the new money. The 50% rule. The 6-month audit. Small, consistent moves that don't feel dramatic, but compound into something real over time. So here's what I want you to do right now. Save this video. Come back to it the next time you get a raise, a bonus, or any unexpected income. Because in that exact moment, before you decide what to do with the extra money, this is the video you need to watch again. That's the moment that defines whether you break the cycle or repeat it one more time. And if you want more content like this, real, honest conversations about money, behavior, and the invisible patterns that keep people stuck, subscribe. We go deeper every single week. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever caught yourself being Jason? I read every single one.